you guys know, I've said this before, my circle is my inner circle is super small, and very intentional. And we're not all the same. Like my closest friends and I are very different from one another, but our values are the same. Our love of life is the same. Our striving to be positive and to help others, those are all the same. But we're different people in terms of likes and how we show up and all that. But we are so comfortable with ourselves and comfortable with the people in my group that everybody can be themselves, authentically them, and there's no judgment, there's no trying to make them into somebody else. But I don't know that the world as a whole can do that. If they're not just like them, they want to, and I was fussing at one of my I'll throw her under the bus. I was fussing at Bailey about this yesterday. Not fussing, but we had a discussion. I'm like, just because somebody, it's not fair to assume something about somebody or judge somebody or something or hold them to a standard when you don't actually know them. And I feel like social media and all the things out there are giving people, or they feel like they have the right to say, oh, Whitney, I don't like how you did this. So you're not a good person. And that's where all this offensiveness is. And that's why when people life throws them a curveball, not only are they dealing with the curveball, they're dealing with 50 other people telling them what they should do with that curveball.
Yep.
And how they should handle it. And I think you should just handle it. Like, don't get bent out of shape unless it's something bent out of shapeable.
Yeah. A wise woman once told me.
Was it me? Was I the wise woman?
You're not for everyone.
Oh, how about that? It was me.
For everyone.
I know. I like it.
And if that's the case, then they ain't my people. They're not part of your tribe.
That's true.
Because I think that answers your question. If you're around the right people, then yes, you can truly be who you are.
Absolutely. And they're not going to, like I said, you've met several of my friends. You've met several of the people in my little inner circle. Mm-hmm. And you guys are as well. We're all so different, but we have a very healthy mutual respect for each other and each other's lives and each other's family, because at the end of the day, our values are the same. We're very others focused. We're very family focused. We're positive. We want to help. That's for me, that's my people. If that's not your people, cool, but you can find yours. But it's then that allows me to stay positive, and it allows me personally to deal with curveballs, whether they're big or small, because I know my tribe, my little circle they're going to be supportive of that.
Yeah.
And even if I came back and, just said something off the wall, they'd probably be like, okay. Most of the world, I had this conversation with my friend Jessica yesterday. A lot of times, people don't always agree like with what I'm doing or how I feel about something in particular. And she and I were having this conversation. I won't go into the details of it, about just some areas of my life and stuff like that. And she's like, you know what? It's nobody's business but yours. Yeah. It's nobody's choice but yours. And I'm like, you're right. And so many times I think we put so much stake in what others think, and if they're not your people, it shouldn't matter that much.
Well, and that's where if you're that close, then anything anyone says, they're doing it with the best of intention.
And they'll call you out if you're way off base. Yeah.
And that's that mutual benefit of you're close enough to them to understand that they're just trying to help in the best way possible. You know yourself enough to where you ultimately have the final decision.
Right. Exactly.
Yes, no, left, right, up, down. That's your final decision.
It's just, there's so much opportunity, I think, for all of us I don't know. I just want the world to be kinder. I do feel like and I've said this before, with the pandemic last year, and we're more than a year into it. We're in Georgia, where things have opened back up. Mm-hmm. I know Florida's opened back up a lot. Some of the Southeast has. New York, not as much. LA, not as much. And some of the places I have clients across the country. So all of us are dealing with different stuff. We have a different set of circumstances. But I feel like as there's been positives and negatives as things are beginning to get back to quote unquote normal, mm-hmm. or the new normal. The positives are that we did realize I feel like, at least I have, that we can do a lot. We don't need to be doing a lot of the things. I feel like we had so much busyness and so much stuff. Agreed. And I spent way less money during the pandemic because I wasn't out doing stuff. I wasn't buying stuff. Right. I mean, the Amazon, I'm buddies with the drivers of the Amazon trucks now, but
right, yes.
But in the grand scheme of things, I got rid of so many things. Like we had a neighborhood garage sale not too long ago. I got rid of a ton of stuff because for me, I didn't need the stuff.
Yep.
I said this multiple times and I'll keep saying it. One of the best things that came out of this for me and for a lot of people is to understand that truly most people are craving experiences and connections. And they want to connect with other people and they want to experience life with other people.
Yep.
That came out loud and clear for me. And I think it did for a lot of my friends as well. So that to me was like, why are we spending so much money on stuff? We're spending money on stuff to impress people we don't even like.
Yeah.
And that's just not my thing.
Yeah.
I did that for years. I did that probably for decades, but it's not really, it didn't serve me.
Yeah.
So for me, it's about connection and experiences.
Well, you learn to, because I did the same, of appreciating the smaller things.
Yes.
Like I love going out now for a dinner.
Yeah.
With Isaac, the family, like just being able to get out and we'll sit there for 2 hours, right? We'll go all the way from the dinner, dessert, and we'll sit there and have coffee and just talk and enjoy one another. And that is all the more special now because we experienced that point in time where you couldn't do that.
I think it made us slow down a little bit.
Yep.
And that's where, with all of this, it's trying to figure out what we want to take from it. And I know, and I hate to quote him, but Dave Hollis during the pandemic at the beginning, he said, in the rush to get back to normal, take a minute to figure, I'm paraphrasing, but take a minute to figure out what parts of normal are worth rushing back to.
Yep.
And I think that was such a brilliant quote.
Yes.
Because he didn't rush back to some things, but sorry, I couldn't. But
he's handled some things better than others.
Yeah, some things better than others, some things not.